Our Healing Voices podcast and YouTube channel. I'm Aaron Lahman, and this is episode 40. I'm really excited to have you join me today. It's just going to be a solo with me. If you're watching on YouTube or on podcast, welcome. If you are brand new, I want to give you a quick backstory on how this podcast began. The vision came out of 18 years of body, mind, spirit exploration that I've been on my own personal journey alongside a lot of people. And I really just felt like I wanted to create a space where body, mind, spirit wellness conversations were the norm, where we could talk about healing, about the things we're learning, about things that are hard, about things that are going really well in our world, in our healing process, in our transformational process. Um, anyway, I just wanted to encourage conversations about healing and transformation. So, and I also wanted us to know that, sometimes on this last 18 years since leaving college and kind of diving into outside the box body, mind, spirit wellness books, I really felt kind of lonely. When I'm like sitting in my yard and reading a book that nobody in my family's read, and I'm just kind of like exploring this whole world of information and world um, of wisdom, really of wisdom. And so, in some of those earlier years, it felt super lonely, and it's still like I still sometimes feel alone. When I'm going through something, it's like, okay, who can I talk to about this? Is this something I, just want to work on with my therapist? Is this something that I want to process with my wife Sarah, or these couple friends, I could drop in with them about it. So, long story short, this podcast is about how can we have those courageous healing conversations with ourselves. Number one, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's me looking in the mirror. It's you looking in the mirror and saying, okay, this is going well. This, I definitely need to shift. This, yeah, that's kind of fulfilling. That's not really fulfilling me the way I wish it were. So having those conversations with ourselves about what needs to change. How can we show up more loving toward ourselves? How can we step out of our comfort zones and stretch and heal and let go of stuff that's no longer serving us, right? So, um, one, it's just really inviting all of us to having a regular conversation with ourselves. And I know we do that, but like maybe just a little bit more intentionally, where we're like, that it's okay. It's okay for you to change. It's okay for me to change. I'm 40. When I'm 50, it's okay if I'm saying different things. It's okay if there's commonality. There's some values that are just firm and long, like lifelong. But then it's also okay if I change my perspective on something. If I have a new awareness come in and I want to change how I think or how I believe. So, um, so one is to encourage self-dialogue, self-reflection, self-evolution, right? And then the other piece is, how can I encourage all of us to have conversations with one another? And that's why I do mostly interviews with people, because I want us to, I want us to be safe spaces for one another. That's really it, right? I want us to be safe spaces for one another, um, that I can call my friend when or I could meet somebody at a yoga studio and I could feel safe enough, right, to dive in. Maybe not all the time, right? I mean, we've got to acknowledge sacred spaces and acknowledge timing and appropriate sharing, right? But how could we create more safe spaces where we're able to have these conversations about real life shit, right? At the end of the day, for me, that's like, I just want us to have more safe places for us to show up and be real and be honest and be raw and be happy and also be sad, and everything in between. So, um, I just really wanted this Our Healing Voices world to be a space where we're all reminded that to keep on healing, to know we're not alone, right? There's a lot of us healing, right? That's why I'm going to keep interviewing over this next 2 decades, 3 decades. I'm going to keep interviewing people to remind us, like, everyday people, you and me, we're everyday people. We're healing. We're making little shifts. We're making, making little habit changes. Um, yeah. So it's the train says hello. Yeah, self-reflection, self-evolution, and also creating safe spaces and having safe places to go, safe friends to go to, partners who want to dive in with us, life partners, and long time lifelong confidants. um, yeah, here's to safe places expanding, right, where we know we can dive in deep, and it's okay, and it's actually encouraged, and we're going to be held, um, in those places. So, and then the last piece is the voices, right, of our healing, right? Each of our healing, our communal healing, and then like the voices is all about, yeah, I mean, I could freestyle. I like a microphone. I could freestyle often on a podcast, on a YouTube channel. I could, literally do a video regularly about things I'm learning, things I'm going through, dot, dot, dot. But for me, um, I just want us all to know that our voices really matter. I really want us all to know, like, and it doesn't necessarily mean that, all of us are going to write a book, launch a podcast, start a blog, post vulnerably on our social media. Like, that's not the call, but it's just like, I just am inviting us to know that our stories matter, right? The stories that are inside of us, the the the, the amazing stories, and also the uncomfortable, not wonderful stories are powerful. They have power in them, whether they were from a light and cheery time or a dark and depressing time. Those stories have a lot of power and potential. And so just encouraging us to find safe spaces again, right? Find safe spaces and create a safe space for ourselves, and also find safe spaces to use our voice to work through stuff, talk through stuff, journal through stuff. So, all right, there you have it. Episode 40. I'm Aaron. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in. Um, yeah, I just want to go back and, tell two stories as to why, um, yeah, two stories just about, like, just on my body, mind, spirit wellness journey. Two stories that were all inspiring for me. Uh, so the first one happened in Jerusalem. After college, I spent a year substitute teaching, um, also coaching track, like a volunteer assistant track coach. And then during that year off, I was living with my parents and my brother, and I applied for, um, grad school to go study in Jerusalem to do a master in religious studies, because for me, I wanted to, um, learn Arabic, learn Hebrew, learn more about, um, Islam, learn more about Judaism, learn more about these three monotheistic religions, right? So that I could have a greater awareness to then be able to have, loving, uniting conversations with people from all backgrounds, or those monotheistic religious backgrounds. Um, okay, so anyway, I go there. Um, I end up dropping out. I studied there for 6 months, or 4.5, 5 months, or whatever, but was there kind of front and, had some time off. So, did a semester, finished all my classes, but decided to drop out. And, the reason for dropping out, that's another story. We won't even go there. Maybe we will. Who knows? But let me just say, um, then yeah, so I'm hanging out with friends, and we've decided, okay, hey, we're gonna go to into the old city. So I was at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, which was in Jerusalem. Um, and the old city was probably like a, sheesh, I don't know, like maybe 30 minute walk from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. And I may be messing that up. I'm not 100%. I'm not remembering fully right now. Um, Go to the old city. Okay. Ancient space. Um, and we're going to go check out the Wailing Wall. And I can't even give you a deep background on the Wailing Wall other than to say this is a wall that people have been praying at for eons. I want to say for over 2000 ish years, 2000 plus years. Um, yeah, yeah, my background, yeah, anyway, again, that's less important to the story. So anyway, my friends and I would go to this, go to the Wailing Wall, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, yeah, I kind of want to go up and like say a prayer. Um, I think that could be cool. Well, it's rainy, um, but I don't know if all of us did, but I was like, okay, I want to go up and say a prayer. So as I'm walking up to say the prayer, um, probably like 4 feet, 5 feet away from the wall, I literally felt like I walked into just like a wall of energy. And I just started crying. It was because it was so intense. Like I just literally walked into this energy and started crying. I felt like I walked into a wall of love and raw energy. So what does a 24-year-old do with that download? I mean, I just was first off, as I'm thinking back on my 24-year-old self, I was just like in shock as to like what the heck just happened? What is going on? Like that was insane. What did I just walk into? Um, and again, I'm not a quantum physicist. I don't have that background. I'm not going to dive into that. I don't have the knowledge there, but what I did have was an experience of energy, of walking into a room, right? For me, walking into a space, right, up against the wall that was it was like palpable. You could feel it. Um, you could feel it. And I mean, I know, like as a human, right? Like I would walk into classrooms as a kid, and the energy of the room was dependent upon the kids in there. It's dependent upon the teacher and the vibe the teacher brought, right? I was aware of like how energy influences us, right? How that energy will influence us. But I hadn't really had an experience like that with like a space. And so it was such a new kind of heart opening, mind opening experience, right? Where I'm like, what? Okay. Um, so long story short, I think, I can go back to that moment and say, maybe that is where my fascination with energy work, my fascination with Reiki, um, maybe that is kind of where it came from. I came back from Jerusalem and then um, started massage school about 6 months after getting back from religious studies school. Um, and so then started diving into like massage energy. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that story. I think what I'll just like a couple takeaways from that experience, and then my experience as um, like I give massages to my mom right now as she's in her transformational process. um, I give her treatments, and some of it is like massage, right? I'm massaging her feet, I'm massaging her back, I'm massaging her whole body, right? But a lot of it is energy, and I um, am more focused on being an energetic being and realizing that she is also an energetic being. and just breathing that in and feeling that connection and that oneness. Because in my humble belief, current belief at 40, is we we aren't actually separate. We actually are all connected and one, right? Like there's literally, like if we were to zoom out, right, it's just this one, it's one energetic being, right? I am water, right? I'm like a lot of elements, right? But I'm literally just energy. And so yeah, and sometimes, yeah, so when I'm giving a treatment to my mom, I'm doing some massage, I'm doing some prayer, and I'm doing some like just some energy work, energy focusing, Reiki, just centered on being a presence of love. How can I be a presence of love to my mom, right? When I'm working on another client, how can I be a presence of love? I'm just literally just imagining love energy moving through my hands, right? Breathing it into my own being and like believing that I am also an energetic being of love, right? And so soaking that in and then sharing that with my client or my mom in this case, right? Who I've been mainly working on here the last 12 months. So energy, it's like beyond me, but the main belief, the main like awareness, that it's led me to is um, just continuing to take responsibility for the energy that I show up with, right? There's times when Sarah and my wife and I have conflict, right? And I know that energetically, I am not a being of love. I'm not in the being of love state, right? And I know we can all relate to this, right? And so for me, that experience at the wall, massage world, the energy, the Reiki world, this last 15 years of offering treatments here and there throughout the last 15 years, um, I now am just reminded like, whoa, my energy, like, I'm one with my mom, and also I am a separate energy being, right? I don't need to carry my mom's the stuff she's going through. I don't need to carry that in my being, right? It actually can like that's actually not an empowering choice, right? The empowering choice is to allow those around us to be responsible for their energetic experience here and to what they're feeding their energy, right? What are we feeding our energy is such an important conversation, in my opinion, and in my belief. Like, what am I feeding myself on a daily basis? Like, what am I putting into my mind? What am I breathing in on the regular? I don't do it every day, right? But a lot of days, before I get on my phone, and I know that like experts are saying, don't get on your phone for the first hour or two, because your subconscious is so like when you're coming out of sleep, your subconscious is more open to transformation and change. So again, this is what the experts I've been listening to say. So your subconscious is way more open to shifting. So in that first hour or two, when I jump onto my Instagram and start scrolling, is that the subconscious programming? Like, do I want that locking in, right? That need for checking my stocks, checking my Instagram, checking my sports, like, is that what I want? Like, I'm breathing that in, right? If that's my first energetic experience when I'm waking up, like that is going to then impact how I show up throughout that day, right? So for me, I don't do it all the time, but I like to turn on an audio, like a meditation audio, or some sort of healing music, an artist that is putting out energetic vibes of like oneness, of warmth, of kindness, of courage, of transformation, right? Because that's the kind of day that I'm praying for, that I'm choosing, that I want to choose. Um, right? Where it's like I'm breathing in the oneness, I'm breathing in my enoughness, and also I'm open to shift and change and learn and be curious as I go through the day, right? So, um, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to share that story at the wall was such a powerful, like, oh my gosh, this energy thing is like, it's not just out there. It's not just Sedona. It's not just Boulder, Colorado. It's not just like weird hippies talking about energy. It's not just people that are, I've not chosen to partake in any psychedelics, but people who talk about oneness and the energy, like are aware of the energetic experience. You see the trees in a different way. You notice life and the vibrancy, right? Like this looks like empty space, right? When I look up at the clouds, but like it's not. There's elements. It's energy. It's all energy that I'm a part of. So it's a soup. That's kind of how I view it. Yeah. So thought that might be interesting for some of you to listen to hear. Thanks for hearing that story. Yeah, I think the big takeaways are like taking responsibility for this energy and how I'm showing up for in my partnerships and my friendships, and how am I showing up for myself energetically, right? Am I showing up with warmth and kindness? Um, so continuing to be open to shifting, right? And that the energy, um, yeah, just to know that that energy like is real and that I can make shifts, right? But if I keep doing the exact same thing, and this is where I'll transition into comfort zone, like if I keep doing the exact same thing, I am not going to have a different result. And that, I mean, this that's not new information. Like, but if I keep showing up the exact same way, listening to the same stuff, reading the same stuff, watching the same stuff, I literally am going to become just a robot Instagram poster, a robot podcast listener, a robot, right? So what do I want to, how do I want this energy body, this energy being that I am, this Aaron Lahman, like how do I want to shift and change in the months, years, days ahead, right? What do I want to shift? What do I want to shift? And to have that curiosity to actually make some shifts, to add in some new things. The other day, we were looking at some childhood videos, and there was a video of me playing piano, and I was like, Sarah and we were like, why don't we have a piano or like a keyboard or something? Like, I, I did enjoy it. I didn't absolutely like love it, but I actually really had a pretty good time on it, so like maybe that's something that I want to like add into my daily flow, add into my energetic reality now. So again, just being open, right? And paying attention to, all right, here's comfort zone, right? Here's comfort zone. And then this is like, whew, whew, do I really want to learn that? Do I really want to go through that? Do I really want to look at that? Do I really want to like dive in about that with my therapist? Ooh, I don't know. Can any of my friends actually hold space for that? Could they just listen and not advise me? Right. So again, these comfort zone and then like really exploring if the comfort zone is where we want to be, and again, I know a lot of us are just trying to like create a happier comfort zone, a more healing, helpful comfort zone. Um, but you know, if if we do want to shift and change, if we are open to shifting and changing and like investigating a little bit, and I've been talking about this with my mom a lot, um, you know, really the healing process in my kind of how I see it is like it's a curiosity experiment, right? It's literally like diving in and being like, why does this thing keep showing up? Why does it keep showing up? Okay, okay, let me make a little shift here, or oh, it's that habit, or it's that belief from childhood. So again, step in I personally want to continue to choose to step out of my comfort zone. And I don't do it all the time. I don't do it every day, but like how, if I want to live a life of expansion and growth and look at myself 10 years from now and be like, oh, sweet. Um, and what does that even, when I say that out loud, I'm like, what does that even mean? Right? When you think about 10 years from now, what energy do you want to show up with? Could your energy be different? Or are you locked? Am I rock solid? The energy you get today, is this going to be the same being 10 years from now? Is there a possibility that it could shift? Is there even a little bit of a desire that for growth? And I think like 10 years from now, what do I want to see grow? What values, what energies do I want to see grow in my life? Right. Right. So as I said, it's like, okay, that being of love reality, like I want to be, I choose to be more peaceful, like less in a sprint, less rushed, less, or yeah, I mean, yeah, less and more, right? I want to be a better listener. Like I'm a pretty good listener right now. I know I can, I want to do it better. I want to show up just more as a safer space. I feel like I'm a pretty safe place, safe space right now. But how can I become even safer and warmer? Um, so anyway, what values, beliefs do I want to choose about, what am I visioning, right? And this is like, to me, this will bring me into kind of the final piece, right? What, as you vision, as you're thinking about 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? What are you visioning? Okay, I mean, you can visualize. If you've read The Secret or watched The Secret, the movie, like you can visualize things and stuff, but like energetically, this energy being, ah, the energetic being that you are, how do you want to show up? How do you want to show up? What ways are you showing up right now that you're like, yeah, I don't choose that habit or that extreme trigger or that extreme, like, uh, shoot. I mean, so could I potentially change? Could I potentially improve? And it doesn't mean that you or I, right, that we're not beautiful and lovely and enough right now, but having that growth mindset, right, and that visioning capability, right, as I'm visioning, as I think about the world I want to see created, right, how can I show up today and call that forward? Right? How can I show up energetically today? If I want it to be a more peaceful place for everyone, not just these kinds of people, not just these, for everyone. I choose for this earth to be a more peaceful place for everyone. How can I be a part of that? How can I show up more peaceful for myself, for my family, for my friends, my community? And then how does that ripple? And also how will I show up in my community and in larger spaces, right? And be a messenger of breath and peace. So um, here's to getting curious. Yeah, I guess here's to getting curious as we each are so unique and so different and have such different backgrounds. And so even just sharing these insight or these thoughts, it's like, uh, take what resonates and whoosh, leave what doesn't. And if there was one little piece that you're like, oh, I like that, or that resonates, I want to write that down. Awesome, do it. but maybe we each continue to have courage, right? As you're visioning the energetic experience you want to grow in your life, as you're visualizing um, the the energetic experience you want your neighbors and your community and this world to experience, right? So continuing to vision that into existence. And does it mean that we're all going to be making the best choice every day, all day? No, no. But why not? Why not choose that growth mindset? Why not choose to have that conversation with your therapist? Why not choose to have that deep dive dialogue with a friend about something that's been bugging you, right? These are important, not easy, but these are important expansion opportunities for all of us. So, yeah. So, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Um, if I were to close, I will just say, I believe we are all energy. I believe we're all intimately and infinitely connected and one. And so, as we expand goodness and love and warmth, peace in our lives, I really believe that that is huge. I really believe that is huge. I know that when I'm showing up earthed out, grounded, connected to the earth, I show up so much more peaceful, so much more loving to those around me versus when I'm showing up stressed, showing up worried, showing up annoyed at my imperfection, at a choice I made, at whatever, right? I show up differently. And so just continuing, yes, we're all intimately and infinitely connected. And also, I am responsible for this guy and this guy's energy, right? This being of energy, I'm responsible for what I'm feeding it and how I'm growing it and what I'm expanding in this being. So, as are you, and as is everyone. So, all right. Big love to you. This is episode 40 of Our Healing Voices podcast and YouTube channel. Really excited. I've already done episode 41, 42, and 43. So those should be coming here in August. Just have to do some editing and they'll be rocking. But thanks for joining me. And if this was your first episode ever, I appreciate you being here. I'm cheering you on. Keep rocking. Keep being courageous. Every single one of us is so resilient and powerful. And yeah, we're so worthy of love as well. So, all right, blessings.